In a land far, far away, there was an old king and his 7 princess daughters who loved to dance. The girls were so jealous that the king bought each of them the same dress to avoid a fight. But the princesses were still complaining about this situation.
I'm so tired of wearing the same dress every day. We too!
That day, while the youngest of the princesses was wandering around the palace in a bad mood, she heard loud noises. The noise was coming from behind a mysterious door in the palace. When she went and opened the door in curiosity, she was very surprised by what she saw, because in front of her, there was a pair of red shoes that were moving on their own. The shoes came dancing and stood right in front of the princess. When the princess curiously put on the shoes, she started running at an incredible speed.
Wow! How fast I'm running!
The princess set out on a long, desolate road wearing magical red shoes. Finally, the magical shoes stopped by themselves somewhere far away in front of a famous tailor. There were such beautiful dresses here that she asked the tailor for one of the dresses to wear at the ball.
Of course,
Ama
but
unutma,
remember,
bencil olanı elbise cezalandırır.
The little princess took the dress and returned to the palace at the same speed, ignoring the tailor's words. She secretly placed her shoes under her bed while the others were sleeping, because she didn't want to share her clothes with her sisters. She wanted them to be only hers. The next evening, all the sisters gathered to dance in the ballroom. While all 6 princesses were wearing the same old clothes, the 7th princess entered the hall in a different, brand new dress. Curious, her older sisters asked the little princess where she got this dress from. But she didn't say anything and danced to the sad eyes of her sisters and enjoyed her new dress. Days passed. The little princess came to the ball in a different and new dress every evening. She didn't care at all about her sisters, who couldn't come to the ball because they had to fix their old clothes. On a prom night, the shiny buttons on the little princess's dress caught the middle sister's attention. She knew that these buttons were only found at a famous tailor far away, but it was impossible for the little princess to go and come back all the way to that distant tailor in one day. To solve this, the sisters decided that one of them would stand guard over the little princess. Wherever she went, one of her older sisters followed her, and they never left her alone. Finally, one night, the little princess saw her older sister falling asleep during the watch. She took this opportunity and immediately put on her red magic shoes and bought another dress from the tailor.
Oh, I got so many dresses. My sisters will be so envious.
The next day, one of the older sisters noticed a huge tear in her old dress. She went and asked the little princess for help.
I can't dance at the ball in this costume. Could you please give me one of your new clothes?
No, I can't. They're mine. They're made for me.
The little princess went to the dance alone, not caring for anyone. While she was dancing, showing off to the guests in her new outfit, one of her older sisters heard clattering under the little princess's bed. When she bent down, she saw the red magic shoes moving on their own. The moment the middle princess put on the shoes on her feet, she started running fast around.
Wow! What's going on?
The middle princess was out of the palace in a blink of an eye.
Oh, where did she go? Wow, she was just here. How fast was she?
The princess crossed the mountains and hills in a very short time. And when she finally reached that tailor, the shoes stopped on their own. She couldn't believe what she saw when she entered. Dozens of fancy, shiny dresses were standing in front of her.
So she could get to and from the tailor so fast in magical shoes. Can I have a dress too?
Elbette.
course.
Ama
But remember,
unutma,
this
bencil
dress
olanı
punishes
elbise
the
cezalandırır.
The princess listened to the tailor's words.
I promise I will never be jealous or selfish.
Then she put on a new dress and returned to the palace at the same speed. On the other hand, while the little princess was dancing alone in the ballroom, her outfit suddenly turned into a shabby dress.
Huh? What happened to my beautiful dress? What's going on? This is so embarrassing!
While the guests were watching her with bewilderment, the little princess went back to her room crying. She searched everywhere for her magical red shoes to buy new clothes, but she couldn't find them anywhere.
Ugh! Where are my red shoes? Who took them? Tell me now!
At that moment, her middle sister appeared before her with the magical shoes in her hands. Plus, she was wearing a brand new dress.
Were you looking for these?
Yes?
The little princess thus realized that her secret had been revealed, and she was very embarrassed that she did not care about the tailor's words. Her older sisters told her that sharing is the most important thing in the world, and the little princess apologized to all of them. From that day on, she shared her magical red shoes with one of her older sisters every day. The shoes took turn taking the princesses to and from the tailor at incredible speed. Thus, all the princess sisters were able to buy new clothes and dance happily in the ballroom for nights.
Once upon a time, in a great kingdom, there were 12 beautiful princesses. To each of these princesses, dancing was a favorite pastime. One day, while the youngest princess was looking out of the palace window, she noticed that there was a red light shining in the well in the garden. Without telling anyone, she made her way out to the well. When she looked into it, she couldn't see anything but light, so she caught it with the bucket and pulled it up. What could this be? She saw that inside the bucket, there was a pair of shiny red shoes. Then the princess put the shiny red shoes on, and then suddenly she found herself dancing incredibly well in the garden. Oh my goodness, these shoes are magical! Just look how beautifully they're making me dance! Just then, a little fairy appeared. She said to her, "Be honest and share the shoes. Otherwise, you'll have to pay for the magic." And she disappeared. The young princess did not pay attention to what the fairy said and did not tell her sisters about the shoes. The next day, they were hosting a grand ball. The young princess put on the magic red shoes and went to the ball. When everyone was watching her beautiful dance and admiring how graceful she was, the middle princess asked her with curiosity, "Sister, you have never danced this well before. Where did these shoes you have on come from?" The young princess said that she always danced like this and lied to her that her father had given her the shoes as a gift. Just then, to her horror, the shoes stopped working, and the young princess, thud, fell to the ground. Ugh, what happened now? The young princess quickly took the shoes off her feet and quickly ran back to her room, followed by curious looks. The next morning, her sisters asked the young princess about the shoes. "We like the shoes very much. Can we perhaps wear them too?" But this time, the young princess told her that she had lost the shoes somewhere. Her sisters realized that the young princess was lying to them. The little princess tried the shoes on again, secretly from her older sisters. But instead of making her dance well, the shoes quickly dragged her out to an old hut in the forest. Ah! Help me! The The young princess was being pushed around in the hut because of her shoes, and she found herself stuck in a huge spider web and could not escape.
Someone help me! Someone get me out of this!
At the same time, all the princesses were curious about the young princess who had not been seen for hours. They all went out to look for her everywhere. Finally, the oldest princess was passing by a hut when she heard the sound of her sister crying. When she entered the hut, she found the young princess all tangled up in a spider web. She pulled from one side and then from the other, but no, she couldn't do anything. Then all of a sudden, the princess's red shoes caught her eye. The moment she took them off her feet, the spider webs disappeared all by themselves. The young princess gave her sister a big hug and gave her her deepest thanks.
I know! All of this happened to me because I didn't share the shoes with you!
Her sister said that selfishness was a very bad thing, that she should go and apologize to all her sisters. The princesses set out for their palace. The young princess regretfully apologized to all of her sisters. The important thing is that you realized your mistake, little one. And so, all the princesses discovered the magic of the shoes and the power of sharing things with each other. They started taking turns dancing with the magic shoes at their balls. The story of the princess who chose to share her shoes has been told for generations in the kingdom. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there was a beautiful and lovely girl whose name was Cinderella. Her stepmother, as well as her stepsisters, were always treating Cinderella badly because they were jealous of her. And on the day of the big ball in the kingdom, her stepmother and stepsisters came up with a plan to prevent Cinderella from going to the ball.
Cinderella, go and pick flowers in the forest to decorate my hair with. I have to be beautiful. I also want the purple hyacinths at the end of the forest road. Come on!
Cinderella said to them, but it isn't that long until the ball. Sadly.
Oh, don't worry. We would never ever leave before you come back.
Cinderella left the house with tears in her eyes. After a long journey, she finally reached the purple hyacinths. But as soon as she tried to reach for the flowers, her fingers started getting pricked by thorns. Cinderella started crying because of the pain, and because she realized that because of this, she wouldn't make it to the ball. Suddenly, a fairy appeared in front of her. The fairy asked Cinderella what was making her so sad. My sisters asked me to come to the forest to go and pick flowers, even though they knew I wouldn't be able to make it to the ball. The fairy snapped her fingers, and suddenly, a pair of sparkling red shoes appeared in front of her hand from out of nowhere. You just need to put these magic shoes on and you'll be ready for the ball in no time. But remember this, the effect of the magic will wear off during the full moon, so you have to make sure you're home before it appears. And then she suddenly disappeared. Cinderella looked around in a state of surprise and tried the shoes on. The moment she put them on, she found herself in front of the ballroom, transformed into a beautiful princess with her hair, as well as her dress, looking absolutely perfect. Oh, where am I? Look at this dress! Is what I'm seeing really real? She entered the ballroom, and people looked at her in admiration. Her jealous stepsisters and her stepmother were taken aback when they saw her.
No way! It was impossible for her to make it to the ball. And where did she get those clothes from? They're so ugly.
All through the room, people were paying attention to Cinderella. May I have this dance, my princess? Cinderella and the prince spent hours dancing with each other. However, in the middle of the dance, a dove came in through the window and perched on Cinderella's shoulder and whispered, "The full moon's about to come out, so you need to go home." Cinderella left the prince and ran out of the door, leaving the prince in a daze. She couldn't see what was in front of her and stepped into a puddle, and one of her magic shoes was swept away by the stream of water. I have to hurry, or else everything will go back to the way it was before. Finally, she managed to get back home before the full moon appeared. She changed out of her dress and hid the shoe that she had left under her pillow. The following morning, the prince was walking around sadly when he stumbled upon one of the red shoes. This is one of the shoes the princess was wearing, he thought to himself. The prince traveled all over the kingdom to find the foot that the shoe belonged to. And one day, he came to the house where Cinderella was living. The cruel stepsisters immediately lined up. Cinderella was watching what was happening from afar. The first one to try the shoe on was the oldest stepsister. But as soon as she put it on, her hair suddenly fluffed up. It looked like she had a massive bush on her head.
Oh, no way! Look at my hair! No, no, no!
The other stepsister also jumped in to try it on, but the moment she put her foot in, her clothes started transforming and became shabby and dirty.
What happened to my clothes? Oh, I've turned into a pile of garbage!
At that moment, Cinderella came downstairs with a red shoe in her hand. The moment she put both of the shoes on, she transformed back into her beautiful self, just like at the ball. I found you, dear Cinderella. Now you're going to be my princess forever. The prince and Cinderella gave each other a hug and were filled to the brim with happiness. And thus, the stepsisters realized that jealousy never helps anybody. But love and kindness always has the power to open every door.
Once upon a time, there was a lazy girl who lived in a small town. This girl never liked to work. Instead, she would sit all day in front of the mirror and daydream. She always complained about her shabby clothes and never tried to buy new ones. One day, the lazy girl went to the market. While walking past the shop windows, she bumped into a young girl named Karen. The two of them fell to the ground at the same time. Karen's glowing red shoes caught the lazy girl's eyes. These were the shoes she had always dreamed of.
Well, I really like your shoes.
Oh, really? Thank you. Yes, I think they are very nice too.
Could you tell me where you got your shoes from?
Karen explained that her shoes were the only ones and were custom-made for her. The lazy girl was very sad when she heard this. But if you bring me 3 bags of gold, I can give them to you. The lazy girl accepted this offer, saying that she was actually very rich, even though she did not have that much gold. However, the lazy girl, who had never worked in any job before, got a job at a bakery the next day. The baker asked her to make 10 loaves of bread and place them in baskets. The lazy girl began to knead the dough with difficulty. She was already bored when she just got the second loaf of bread.
Ugh, this job is not for me. I'm getting dirty.
When the baker wasn't looking, she crumpled the paper bags on the side and threw them into the basket. She placed 3 loaves of bread, which she had barely made, on top of them. Thus, to make the bread appear like there was more.
Wow! You finished it in such a short time! Well done! Here's a bag of gold for you!
The lazy girl ran home just as she grabbed the gold. She never went back to that shop again.
Only 2 bags of gold left. Once I earn them, the shoes will be mine.
It was the next day. The lazy girl got a job at the grocery store this time. The green grocer asked her to remove the rotten fruit, but the lazy girl didn't want to touch the rotten fruit.
Oh, but these rotten things will ruin my nails. Ugh.
When the green grocer turned around, she arranged the good fruits on the top row. Thus, the rotten fruits remained at the bottom, and she could avoid touching them.
How did you arrange it so neatly? Well done! Here's a bag of gold for you!
The lazy girl took the gold and ran home. She never went to that grocery store again.
Just one more bag of gold left.
The lazy girl was so tired and bored with her work that she fell asleep while dreaming by the window. She dreamed that she was dancing at a ball. Everyone around her was admiringly watching her dance with her new clothes and shoes.
See how beautifully she dances.
I can't take my eyes off her shoes. How beautiful they are.
The lazy girl suddenly woke up.
I'll deceive one more person, and then I'll have another bag of gold.
She immediately went to the market. This time she got a job with a tailor. The tailor asked her to sew patches on the skirts with the right colors. But the lazy girl chose irrelevant colors for each patch and never managed to sew it properly.
Ugh, my fingers hurt because of the needle. Ugh, I can't do that anymore.
The lazy girl gathered up all the skirts and hid them aside. When the tailor came and asked, she said that the owners of the skirts came. They liked the patches very much and they took them away.
Oh, that's great! Well done! Here you go, for your good work. A bag of gold for you.
The lazy girl ran home as she grabbed the gold. She never went to the tailor's shop again. She took the 3 bags of gold she had hidden in a corner and went to Karen happily.
Karen, look! 3 bags of gold. I earned them all with my hard work. Come on, give me the shoes.
Karen took the gold and handed the shoes to the lazy girl in a box. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention. These are magical shoes. They don't hurt only honest and hardworking people. The lazy girl didn't pay attention to what Karen said. She immediately slipped the shoes on her feet. She was so happy that she started walking around the market, dancing. She saw a beautiful dress in a window. She wanted to stop to look at it, but the shoes wouldn't allow it.
Hey! What's going on? I can't stop! Help me! Help!
Everyone in the bazaar was watching the lazy girl who was dancing and jumping in amazement.
Look! Isn't that the girl who deceived us? Oh, it's indeed her?
That girl tricked me too.
The shoes made the lazy girl dance in the market for hours. The girl's feet were so swollen after that she started to cry in pain.
Help me! My feet hurt so bad! I promise I will be a more honest and hardworking person from now on.
The baker, the greengrocer, and the tailor, who felt sorry for the lazy girl, rushed to her aid. They managed to catch her, albeit with difficulty, and remove the shoes from her feet. And the magical red shoes danced away by themselves.
Oh, thank you for saving me. Even though I lied to you and didn't do anything right. And you helped me despite that.
After that day, no one called the lazy girl again. Because she earned her gold by working honestly and without being lazy in every job she got. So she bought herself new clothes and a pair of shoes she loved so much. The only magic of these shoes was nothing but the joy of earning honestly.